Introduction. What does the future hold, and how do you stay ahead? E-Business 2.0 Roadmap for Success offers a clear-eyed look. We will focus on what it says about business and companies. Stay with me, the best part is near the end. Overall summary. We're entering the era of the business web, or B-Web. Once you've read this book, you'll know why all business will soon be e-business. E-business is the complex fusion of business processes, enterprise applications, and organizational structure necessary to create a high-performance business model. Virtually every business discipline is affected by e-commerce and e-business application architectural efforts. Technology is no longer the Rodney Dangerfield of business. How do we reorganize our business? Autobytel's business model illustrates the power of the business web. Chapter 1: Business and Commerce. The key to competing in the digital economy is business model innovation that exploits the power of business webs. Industry by industry, business webs are destroying the old model of the firm. New business models based on networks are the new keys to competitiveness and wealth creation. The term e-business began as a marketing slogan for technology companies. It is now a central theme at the heart of business strategy. However, most managers still view e-business and e-commerce as the buying and selling of goods on the internet. Which business models, management strategies, and tactics will ensure success? If these questions are not of paramount importance to you, get used to mediocre business performance. The thesis of the book is that durable application frameworks can guide you through the e-business chaos. But already, the next wave e-business is reaching shore. Intensified competition and new e-commerce opportunities are pressing traditional companies to build e-business models that are flexible, fast-moving, and customer-focused. The core of the enterprise itself is undergoing a metamorphosis from e-commerce to e-business. The message is simple: without a transition to an e-business foundation, e-commerce cannot be executed effectively. One point deserves emphasis: choosing to pursue e-business is not easy. E-business is not a slogan. E-business, in effect, defines what a company does and, therefore, what it is. If customers are moving online, the whole information technology, IT, investment paradigm must shift toward creating an integrated e-business model. The focus of this book is practical, helping senior management plan for and manage e-business investments. But what do these internal e-business architectures and investments look like? Understanding how to lead one's company into the e-commerce arena requires a new point of view about integration and the business design. We offer step-by-step navigation of the uncharted e-business terrain. This book focuses on the business architecture that managers must build to achieve e-business success. We then extract examples of the sharpest thinking in business today. Chapter 2: Business and Commerce. Chapters 6 through 11 explore the various e-business design elements in the new e-corporation. In today's business environment, the stakes are high and failure is swift and ruthless. Few concepts have revolutionized business more profoundly than e-commerce. In this chapter, we'll look at the mechanics of e-business, what it is, its corporate and economic impacts, and how it is radically changing business processes. A core component of successful e-business practice is assessing and redesigning how your firm provides value to its customers. Visionary companies understand that current business designs are insufficient to meet the challenges of doing business in the e-commerce era. We call this customer-oriented integration e-business, the organizational foundation needed to support business in the net economy. How will e-commerce change our customer priorities? How can we construct a business design to meet these new customer priorities? What kind of new applications infrastructure do we need to orchestrate the new business design? Is senior management willing to make changes to the company business model before it's too late? In this chapter, our goal is to make the logic of e-business explicit and comprehensible so everyone on your management team can participate in creating the new infrastructure required by e-business. Linking today's business with tomorrow's technology, it's happening right before our eyes, a vast and rapid reconfiguration of business on an unprecedented scale. We call this phase e-business, and it includes all the applications and processes enabling a company to service a business transaction. In addition to encompassing e-commerce, e-business includes both front and back-office applications that form the core engine for modern business. Thus, e-business is not about e-commerce transactions or about buying and selling over the web, it's the overall strategy of redefining old business models, with the aid of technology, to maximize customer value and profits. Why is e-business a big deal? What is driving e-business? The resulting democratization of information resulting from this digital revolution casts aside the stodgy old conventions of business built on information asymmetry. 2. The rules of the business game are being rewritten to be the rules of e-business, as listed in table. Let's start by looking at the first rule of e-business. Technology is no longer an afterthought in forming business strategy but the cause and driver. Although the computer has increased business speed, it hasn't fundamentally altered the business foundation, but e-commerce has. Therefore, rethinking and redesigning your company's business model is not an option. It's the first step to profiting, even surviving in the e-business information era. Chapter 3: Business and Needs. Inability to overthrow the dominant, outdated business design often leads to business failure. The business design of the future increasingly uses reconfigurable e-business models to best meet customers' needs. The goal of new business designs is for companies to create flexible outsourcing alliances that not only offload costs but also make customers ecstatic. For urgent e-business projects, it's easy to minimize application infrastructure needs and to focus on the glitzy front-end apps. The ability to plan an e-business infrastructure course swiftly and to implement it ruthlessly are key to success. The tough task for management is to align business strategies, processes, and applications quickly, correctly, and all at once. To do so is to fail, dooming their business. In order for executives everywhere to operate successfully in the new age of e-business, business itself must be seen differently. Defining e-business, structural transformation. If e-commerce innovation is revolutionizing the rules of business, resulting in structural transformation, where do we see the effects? This second rule of e-business is the core driver of structural transformation. Unfortunately, few companies have developed the necessary information-centric business designs required to deal with the issues of continuous business change and innovation. Changing the flow of information requires changing not the product mix but also, and more important, the business ecosystem in which companies compete. The big dilemma facing management today is how to trigger the spark of innovation in the current business models, allowing the firm to compete seriously in the new economy. Changes in business design combined with the pressures of time to market and new technology create serious management challenges. If a company's business design is faulty or built on old assumptions, no amount of patchwork will do any good. Value chain disaggregation and reaggregation. The value of any business is in the needs it serves, not in the products it offers. Disaggregation requires identifying, valuing, and nurturing the true core of the business, the underlying needs satisfied by the company's products and services. Reaggregation, by reorienting the business toward a renewed vision of the needs it serves, enables businesses to streamline the entire value chain. Successful reaggregated business designs depend on a well-integrated set of enterprise software applications. In our work, we've found many firms using strategies of disaggregation and reaggregation to create new business models. The steps are the same for any business organization, whether a startup, a visionary firm, or a mature company. Established companies need the most help in transforming themselves to meet the requirements of the new e-business era. Technology has historically been viewed as part of the support process, not as the core driver or competency of the business. Chapter 4: Customer and Business. Challenging traditional definitions of value. Customers require the companies with which they do business to continuously improve, in the following areas: speed of service. Customers value the convenience of one-stop shopping. Customers want firms to treat them as individuals. In every business, managers should ask how they could use the new technology to create a new value proposition for the customer. In subtle ways, e-commerce is fundamentally changing the customer value proposition. These technological innovations and resulting new forms of customer value mean that companies must either develop or acquire the talent and competencies on which the value-creating technology depends. Companies that follow such middle-of-the-road strategies will underperform, leading us to the fourth rule of e-business. Using e-commerce, companies can listen to their customers and become the cheapest, the most familiar, or the best. The cheapest isn't synonymous with inferior quality. Recently, Walmart has taken the cheapest model and applied it to the grocery business. They want companies to innovate customer service and benefits, pushing their service to new levels that make the customer's life easier in a specific way. Clearly, companies are caught in the midst of a tornado of increasing customer demands and spiraling business transformation. At stake is a significant share of the worldwide book market, estimated to be more than $75 billion, with international sales some 30% of the several players' online business. The needs and demographics of the online customer are different. Online book customers have an interesting profile. Firms need to invigorate the complete customer experience. The ability to streamline the end-to-end experience provides a complete solution to customer needs and sets visionary companies apart. This focus on enhanced customer experience leads to the fifth rule of e-business: don't use technology to create the product. This level of service for a national and international audience is unprecedented in the book retailing business. As the business environment becomes more digital, established firms need to think like Amazon.com. They ignored the importance of the integrated business back-end, which drives the enterprise to success. Effective experiences through front-end to back-end integration is the central theme of e-business. Is there an Amazon.com that can squeeze margins in your business? Are any new entrants in your industry leveraging the web to rewire the customer experience and change service expectations? Expedia engineered the customer experience by looking at the customer's needs and then working back along the fulfillment chain, changing it based on the customer's requirements. Chapter 5: Business and Customers. Engineering the end-to-end value stream, e-business webs. As discussed earlier, a company must be capable of engineering the entire end-to-end value stream to ensure future success. Experienced managers know to redefine business designs and processes when implementing new forms of value. As a result, we see the widespread use of synergistic clusters, business ecosystems, coalitions, cooperative networks, or outsourcing to create end-to-end value streams in the new environment. Business webs, BW, 9, as these networks of relationships are known, link businesses, customers, and suppliers to create a unique business organism. This trend leads to the sixth rule of e-business. The business design of the future increasingly uses reconfigurable e-business models to best meet customers' needs. BW strategists see companies as part of an extended business family that pools the resources and benefits of each company's expertise. Large established companies too are moving to the BW model. The business proposition is simple. If customers increasingly seek to purchase cars online, what kind of business model is needed to support this process? If the current business model for car dealerships doesn't provide customer value, what will the dealership of the future look like? If customers want to do business online, what kind of e-business applications and technology architecture are needed to support it? Harvesting the partnerships, e-business core competencies. The e-business environment is one of intricate and dynamic change. As they face complex business challenges, companies are increasingly farming out critical tasks to cut time to market. It is difficult for businesses today to succeed by going it alone. Increasingly, new e-business entrants use a strategy of GBF, or get big fast. This strategy uses outsourcing alliances as a business model for gaining a stronger market position against a proven industry leader. Used it to overtake Microsoft Network in the portal business. This brings us to the seventh rule of e-business. The goal of new e-business designs is for companies to create flexible alliances that not only offload costs but also make customers ecstatic. In the old business model, when customers were given little choice and all competitors were equally bad, a company had incentive to do a better job. In the new e-business era, new entrants are flooding an already competitive marketplace, presenting customers with more choices. Faced with the threat of losing customers, integrated infrastructure problems rocket to the top of the business agenda. Managers are becoming increasingly aware of the enterprise-wide nature of e-commerce business requirements. Today's business climate demands that companies live and breathe flexibility, agility, and integration when dealing with customers. To facilitate change, companies need an effective business design that allows them to take on new straw. Closing. That is the heart of e-business 2.0 roadmap for success. If it helped, a quick subscribe keeps more summaries coming. So how do business and companies connect? That is exactly where we started. Go back to the top and watch it click into place.